fueled racial resentment. Many white Cincinnatians who struggled to attain the picket fences and matching living room sets they coveted blamed Black communities. Yet in 2016, a supermajority of Black and white residents passed a ballot initiative to raise their own taxes to fund universal preschool education with targeted resources for poor, mostly Black communities. The initiative passed by the largest margin of any new education levy in Cincinnati history. People kept telling me about one church that had sent a steady stream of volunteers to support the initiative. Two young women, one white and one Black, had organized large, racially diverse groups of volunteers to phone bank for the ballot initiative. The campaign manager, a hardened operative who had been part of many bitter political fights throughout the Midwest, said their ardent volunteerism was unlike anything I've ever seen. The volunteers came from a Protestant evangelical megachurch called Crossroads, technically a multiracial church, but unequivocally white-dominant in both numbers and culture. I had assumed the volunteers were left-leaning Unitarians willing to raise taxes on themselves to provide for the neediest children in the city, not notoriously conservative white evangelicals. Throughout the 2016 election, white evangelicals had been one of Trump's staunchest voting blocs, staying loyal to him even after he bragged on tape about grabbing women by the pussy. I wondered how these evangelicals became so animated in their support for a policy designed to benefit the Black community. I spent election night 2016 in California, where I was living at the time. Riveted by the presidential returns, I forgot to follow the results for the preschool initiative in Cincinnati. The next morning at 6:30, my husband and I left for a long-planned trip abroad, leaving my parents to babysit our children. Just before we left, I informed my dad, who had gone to bed early, that Trump won. The unexpected election outcome still felt raw, and the country, Trump's campaign included, was scrambling to make sense of his victory. My dad, who still spoke English as a second language, was puzzled by the pervasive sense of disarray. He sent me a text at the airport. Sometimes we may feel sad, but every time we find a wise solution, we will be all right. I thought about the arc of history my dad had witnessed in his lifetime. His parents fled south from North Korea during the Korean War, carving the country into two arbitrary pieces forever, separated my grandfather from his own mother. The new society my grandparents' generation built in the ravaged remains of South Korea enabled my parents to immigrate to the United States as graduate students in the early 1970s. They originally anticipated returning to Korea after my dad earned a PhD. But by the time he had completed his degree, my brother and I had started elementary school, and my parents decided they would rather raise us in the United States. South Korea was a nascent democracy at the time, and protection of human rights and opportunities for economic and educational advancement still felt fragile. My parents moved us to Houston, Texas, where my dad found a job. We lived in a racially diverse middle-class neighborhood in southwest Houston, alongside immigrants from all over the world. Violent fights between competing ethnic cliques dominated the social landscape in the local public schools. Our next-door neighbor's son and his friends once robbed our home. In a reflexive effort to shield my brother and me from this milieu, my parents sent us to a parochial school that happened to be largely white. They gamely learned to make small talk with white parents at school events to help our family fit in as much as possible. Korean people don't chit-chat like that, they would chuckle. Despite, or perhaps because of, everything he witnessed across these fractured worlds, my father maintained hope, which got me thinking about Issue 44, the Cincinnati ballot initiative. The leaders of the preschool campaign had been so optimistic before the election. After we boarded the plane, I looked up Hamilton County, Ohio on my phone to find the election results. Even though Trump won the state by 8 percentage points, Clinton